shut the f up.
They got him.
Don't do that. Don't do that, you little
This is a charitable interpretation of quote unquote the other side, not Hasan.
Okay.
Hassan is too stupid to understand any of these things. Okay. So do we have that clear? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So here's the issue. Okay. I feel like the bathrooms one was like, I think legitimately like in favor of the trans people. Like
Agreed.
I think that like conservatives that argued about trans, like, do you know who Blair White is?
Yes.
Like, does a conservative want Blair White going into a bathroom with their son? No, they don't. You're fucking stupid. If you're a conservative, if there's a passing trans person, you don't want them going into the bathroom with it. You're a moron, right?
Today's topic seems somebody wanted to respond to a video we did.
I love the argument. I don't even need to see it. I don't even need to see it to know what the argument is, which is going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, the argument is probably going to be, no, it is unnatural to be trans. Because that's how it, literally, when you argue with fucking transphobes, the only argument they have is relying on what other people also feel about trans people, because it's the normative position.
Hold on. I think in the future, you're going to be pretty heavily against the trans ideology, starting to realize how toxic this shit is. I love it. Okay. In all of the emails that I've gotten and in all of the discourse that we participated in, my hatred for online trans activist communities has grown, but my support for actual trans people that are dealing with trans issues has also grown. So like, if we see like transphobic comments or people saying things like, oh, like it's all fake or trannies or blah, 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 like you get permabanned from all of my shit. If you're under the assumption that I like just think that all trans shit is fake or I don't believe in it, or that I think it's all bullshit because I fight with these lunatic fucks on Twitter, like you're gonna get banned from here if you say dumb shit. Just as a heads up. If I see you in my Twitter mentions, I still block you. If I see you in my YouTube comments, I perma-mute you. And if you show up in any of my chats, I perma-ban you and IP ban you, so.
Fucking transphobic.
But the thing is, this is.
I'll say this. I've said this a million times. I don't know if you guys can be as strong as I am, okay? You do not let your opposition define your political views ever. You do not do that. You cannot ever fucking do that. Thoughts on talking to Brett Weinstein, who is also left-leaning and was canceled by the left? Okay. This is why I want to do streams where we keep revisiting like our core values. I'm not going to let people that cancel me change my views. I'm not going to be right-wing. I'm not fucking conservative. Like, I still believe in massive redistribution of wealth. I still believe in socialized healthcare. I still think Trump is a fucking lunatic. I still think we need more responsible foreign policy that doesn't mean abdicating our allies or abandoning all of the theaters that we have open. Whatever. Like, I'm still a huge fan of like open borders. I still like multilateral trade. Like, I'm not just because people. That Brett Weinstein guy seemed like he had an issue at a university where he was understandably upset because some students were trying to make like a whites not allowed to go to school day, which is ridiculously fucking stupid. But it seems like he got so triggered by that one event that he just jumped ship and went full like centrist conservatard. That's from what I've seen of that Brett Weinstein guy. That's what it seemed like was the case. I could be wrong on that, but that's what it seemed like happened to him. Don't let people you hate tell you what your political beliefs should be by just believing the opposite thing they believe.
That's the thing. And what we meant by that is being trans is not, but transitioning is. But whatever.
Hold
on.
I just want to do one better. It's not what we meant. It's literally what we said. I watched it back. We didn't say being trans is unnatural. No. We said transitioning is. Hormone therapy, all this stuff, all of it's very natural. You know, taking puberty blockers or like hormone blockers, taking all this stuff, perfectly natural. He really said that transitioning is natural. It's not. I'm not saying that this gender dysphoria is not natural. That's not what we're talking about. Transitioning is nothing natural.
It's like saying that taking steroids is natural. It's not.
Not Erman. That's a pretty nuanced view to have. That's good.
I know.
Yeah. That's not what we meant. That's literally what we said.
I know.
Yeah.
And he's just not gonna watch it and deem us transphobe. So if listen, dude, if you're gonna watch something and do commentary with something said and not watch what they said and build a narrative, you haven't said anything. That's the dumbest way to do a tape. That's the dumbest way to dispute someone's narrative or whatever. I don't know, it's because you don't have any arguments or whatever or not, and you base yourself on, oh, this is what they do. This is what they do. That's what they do. You, for someone that don't want to be typecasted, that's just weird that you do that, but whatever.
Hey. You're just saying that because you're a transphobe.
Yes, sure.
Let's keep watching.
God, fucking 10-hour I covered this shit for like 10 fucking hours, and they cut like 30 seconds and go, this is so stupid. Trans people are weird and unnatural. And then everyone was like, Pog! Fuck yeah!
Thursday to my BBs in here.
Oh my god, wait, do we have an uncle?
Dumbass. Abbott and Preach were the ones that were DMCA for criticizing Fresh and Fit. Wait, what? Really? They're actually, I don't know anything about them. So
I hate that he just said that. I hate that he said that. Do you understand like everything that's going on with that statement? Like just, it's not even clout brained. It's hardcore team sports brained. Like somebody says something and you disagree with what they said, and then somebody is like, they also criticize these people that you hate, and like your brain is like, oh no, wait, what? These guys criticize somebody that I don't like, and now they're criticizing me. I thought we should be 100% lined up with every single view. Like, it's like such a dumb, like, that is like so indicative of the underlying thought process there.
They are actually not bad. What the fuck? Oh, but they said my C word ban was good. Like, I deserved it, and I was a racist for saying cracker.
That's also not what we said.
What? What the fuck?
Hey man, we have one of the Jordan Peterson moment. What you said was, so what you're saying is, that's not what we said.
God, just I'm nothing. You know what?
Let me just keep watching.
You know what? No. Just no. Just no. This is so stupid and asinine. Like, you put work. That's how you build your narrative? You're just gonna lie about the whole thing? Ah, you stupid fuck. That's the thing, all right? I really want a motherfucker to be able to explain to me his point of view.
And engage with what you're actually saying.
That's just all I want.
Not a straw man.
I want to have a conversation with a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But no, you dumbass bitch. You're just gonna invent shit. You're low. You invent shit. That's what you do. Like, well, what is it with you? You're not smart enough to dispute or just to say to take a point that someone says and go on that point. You gotta lie.
It's easier to straw man something.
Like, you stupid. Is it because you're stupid or you're not able to do it? What is it? Which one is it? You know your shit. You've been talking about that shit a whole lot of time. It's really simple. Listen to what we gotta say and then go on that. But you gotta lie. Like, how dumb are you? Like, you know you're dumb. You're not mentally capable. Don't push me like that for me to stop. I'm not stopping. You know you're not mentally fucking capable of doing this shit. Is that what it is? What is it? That's gotta lie?
Let's just watch the whole thing and see what they got.
God damn. Stop. No. Hey, I remember one time we had a fucking conversation and you told me about, I told you I was on you because of ghosting. It's like, well, why you ghost? You owe these motherfuckers an explanation. It's like, no, I don't hold these motherfuckers shit because they didn't have the courtesy. They didn't have the courtesy to see that I was annoyed, and they were annoying me and they were getting on my nerves, and they didn't have no courtesy there. So I don't have to show them courtesy. I have to show this motherfucker courtesy of listening to his video. When he don't listen, he don't bother. He just makes shit up.
Hold on. Interrupt this video with this, please.
Iman wasn't being a bad person in informing me, but that's the reason why I looked at this video. I would never have fucking seen it in any other capacity.
Wait, who did Pokey send in this video?
Iman wasn't being a bad person in informing me, but that's the reason why I looked at this video. I would never have fucking seen it in any other capacity. But I looked at the video, and you know, I gotta say I wasn't a fan. And I mean, I guess we can go over it. I can talk to them as well if they really want to, but like, only good faith, okay? I'm not trying to fucking like get easy quips. I'm not trying to get like fucking clips. I'm not trying to like lock them into a corner to get them to admit that like they have some transphobic opinions or anything like that. Because that's usually what is the successful model for debate lording. I know how to do it.
19 months, BB.
Imagine accusing these guys of debate lording. Also, why would Hasan want to talk to these guys? Oh. Because I get 26.5 million views a month. He saw the sub count. He's such a disgusting little fucking clout goblin, dude. He's such a clout goblin.
There are good guys and bad guys, for sure. But it is deeply frustrating.
What did he say before
anyway,
this?
and Iman is like, really comprehend the news. It's so much better and so much easier for me if I can assume a role, assume a team, and then my team is like good and the other team is bad. Just try to learn about the issues. by just looking at the issues and not through the framework of whatever your favorite content creator is saying to the other favorite content creator. Okay? Okay? For a lot of guys, politics is their space to enjoy petty drama. It makes the community just want a mega takedown, so they're obsessed with black and white, good guy, bad guy type shit. Exactly. When politics is like super nuanced for the most part, there are good guys and bad guys for sure, but it is deeply frustrating. Anyway, and Imam was being a bad person and informing me, but that's the reason why.
Hey, but he's accusing us of doing the same thing in that when we reacted to the clip. You get
Wait.
what I'm saying?
Hold on. Pause break. 1 second.
And so now we've only reacted to a certain segment. Let's watch it in its entirety. All right? And then we can go in.
This is some stupid shit.
We can go in.
We already went in.
Well, I'm just saying. Let's give it a
We don't even have to go in. We just have to open the door and watch how fucking shit it is. Oh, look. There's fucking must and debris everywhere.
Hey, dookie smells. Let's go.
Dookie smells.
Why not? Why is it assuming the argument at least?
Today.
Because I made a fucking promise that I wasn't gonna
No
engage
clout.
with like idiotic bad faith fucking debates. Okay, that's why.
I think so. He's accusing you of what you accusing him. He's saying we in bad faith, all this other stuff. So, you know what I mean? It's back and forth.
But he just acknowledged that he didn't fucking even watch the video. At least we went on what he said.
Yeah, and his statement in the vacuum was idiotic. It's not like we were looking at his whole stance in totality.
That's why. Because I know for a fact that it literally doesn't go into any other area.
7 months, love, you
It
have.
just simply is. I will do a thoughtful and fucking 30-minute to 40-minute analysis on what they said, what they got wrong, and then they will turn around and clip something and basically use that as a video opportunity.
Well, what
Well,
video
yes.
opportunity? Like, hold up. You're acting like we took a 30-second clip and made a 10-minute video on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we just took one clip as a more ensemble to showcase how stupid a lot of these opinions surrounding transports are. It's not to say that I've reacted to his entirety, so don't get so butthurt, bro. That's why I'm looking at this. I'm like, bro, the angle and the ego you have to think like that video was about you or to rebuttal you is crazy to me. You weren't in the thumbnail. You weren't in the title. You were just in the video for like 20 seconds. Breathe, motherfucker. It's not that deep. But anyways, you know what? This is what we gonna do.
I'm good now.
You good?
I'm good now.
This is what we gonna do. We gonna watch your thoughtful video and we'll see what it's all about.
It's over for me on that front. Like
Oh, no.
I am. If you think that that's like me running away from criticism, then go ahead. You are semi-correct. They said transitioning is unnatural, but not being trans. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, cool.
Oh, dude. So what you got to say about that? Just cool, bruh. That's because you didn't watch a fucking video. You know what?
Hold up,
No.
I wanna watch it. I wanna watch it.
I'm good. I'm good. Go.
You're a Quebecian comedian.
So this happened to
Here,
someone I know.
I won't do the bad faith thing and like not even look at their take because now they're gonna clip that and use that to be like, oh, he didn't even see what we had to say.
Oh, we was about to go in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you was about to create a moment. Smart on you. See, you just proved to me that you're not that dumb. I appreciate you.
This is the thoughtful video he did on the subject matter.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have you already covered that trans athlete winning this swimming competition? Genuinely just curious about your thoughts on it. My position, first and foremost, is like, I don't care. And my secondary position is like, I think you don't care either. You're just like trying to make an argument. You're just trying to debate about it.
Yo
And my
ho,
third
chill.
and final position ultimately is that it straight up does not matter. Absolutely does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Even if trans women were completely dominating certain fields of sport, the only
This guy in chat is spamming me with a question for like 12 fucking hours. It's like insane. Chill. I don't know. Jesus.
only reason why you would consider that to be completely inappropriate and unnatural is if you think trans women are unnatural. And that's it.
This is the thoughtful video. Here we go.
And that is where transphobia comes from, which is basically the idea that trans women are somehow not normal, they're abnormal, they're weird. I get it. Like, I understand. Even if it does have a competitive advantage, I'm saying I don't care because they're still a trans woman. You know what I mean? I think that trans women are women, and that the only reason why you consider that to be
Oh my
unfair
God,
is because you think
dude.
they're doing it
He's
from a place
so
of like
brain dead.
cheating.
Yo, real talk.
It's so insane that if he was like a woman doing this, there would be like a a million bimbo blonde jokes, a million like this is why women should shut the fuck up jokes, a million like airheaded like dipshit blonde, like there'd be like a million ways to make fun of it. But like because he's an attractive guy, he gets away with it. If you want to talk about sexism, this is a really good example of it, because holy fuck, this would be one of those moments where if Hasan was a woman, he would be making like all of womankind look fucking horrible. But because he's a man, he doesn't have to like represent his whole sex.
I feel like every trans activist just walks into the room and sees a debate going, like, yo, I got this. Yeah, I'm gonna shut this whole bitch down.
Trans women are women.
Trans women are women.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Like, nice.
Hey, you already know. We got him. Hey, listen. Trans women are women, so you ain't gotta say nothing. And if you disagree, that means you transphobic. That's what it means.
Oh my God.
That's what they're doing.
That's really what they do. There's no more argument than that.
You know what? Trans women are women. Fantastic. But they're still not female. And at the end of the day, sports is not about your gender expression. It's about your sex, your biology. Nobody cares about your gender expression. Gender and sex are different. Though we call it women's sports, it was really just about you calling it female sports. The reason why is about physiology. Nobody cares about how you express in the world. So to me, when people say, well, I think they should compete because trans women are women, it doesn't matter. It's not the point of why we created the category or why we sequester women to this segment of society when it comes to sports. It's because biologically speaking, there's a difference. That's all it comes down to. So I don't understand why people say stuff like, well, I think that they should be able to access these sports because trans women are women. That's not what it's about. We're talking about biology and motherfuckers are still talking about gender expression. Who cares? Nobody cares what you identify as. Not as far as this conversation goes.
You're transphobic.
Because trans women are women. And if you disagree, that means you're a transphobe. Social justice unite.
And the worst thing is that we do agree.
We agree.
We agree.
But these things are separate.
But that's not what we're talking about.
If you go to the doctors, okay, yes, trans women are women, but guess what? You still have the physiology, right, and the biology of a male. As a result, when you go to the doctor, that's going to factor in. They shouldn't just be like, well, trans women are women, so I'm going to treat you like... It's a different ballgame. So when it comes to risk for certain diseases, different things, they have to acknowledge the fact that you're biologically a male.
Ma'am, you have prostate cancer. No, trans women are women. You're gonna die.
You have ma'am, you got testicular cancer.
No, trans women are women. That's not what we're talking about.
That's
and
it.
Yeah, you are a woman. It doesn't defeat the...
Well, women are also at 75% risk for getting trans. No, males are, okay? Some aspects are more linked to your biology than your gender expression. It's not a complicated thing. It's not transphobic to say this. Most people would agree with this notion. So I don't understand why there's so much pushback online.
And it's fine.
But it's because you don't care. Like you said, you don't care about the fact that this is unfair. You don't care about this. You just want to be able to say your fucking spiel from your political spectrum. And then that's it. You walk away. You good. But this is your thoughtful response.
Absolutely. Oh, did that boss just copy me?
This is way better than the
so
clip
I have 10
saw.
vigor, so...
Like you think that there's something like mischievous going on behind the scenes. And like, I personally think that not a single human being on the planet is going to undergo HRT, gender confirmation therapy, literally fucking like get brutalized by people over and over again for just the crime of existing, have their existence be debated on in public by academics every fucking day just to win like swim victories. Like, you're psychotic.
It reminds me of the people who say, what woman would ever rake up a rape accusation? Mm-hmm. Or a Weinstein accusation. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, you find out people will lie for anything. People will go through a whole ass double life, cheat on people who gave them their kidneys, do the most fuckery shit. It is possible. Do I believe that most of these folks are doing that? No. But to sit there like, nobody would? That's not true. In fact, there's some people who claim to be trans so they can get into certain spaces and prey on people. Now, of course, this is the minority of folks, and I wouldn't even say like that's a thing. But just like the We Spa incident where it turns out the person who was in those change rooms was an offender, there's some people who will use whatever it takes to get to where they need to go. I'm not saying this in this situation. It's not something we've ever said.
No.
But, yeah.
No. It's So I'm not even gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
It's pure projection. Stop using misogyny to defend trans women. What? I've never. What? I've literally not done that. I don't know where. What? Because you said you don't care about women's sports. I mean, I don't care about any fucking sports. But anyone who says that they don't care, anyone.
That's such a cop out. It's like the thing that like all the gamer bro fucks because people can't fathom that people have different interests than them, right? I'll be honest. I don't care about women's sports. I don't care about men's sports. I don't really care about any sports, right? But I'm not like everybody. There are some people that super do care. To try to like instantiate your view onto everybody and pretend that every single person is gonna feel the same way is so fucking stupid, right? Like, you know what else I don't really care about? Like fucking minority issues, because I'm not a minority. Like, it's not like that's not something that affects me every day. But you would never go around and you know, people are talking about like, hey, like there's a lot of racism. I don't care. I'm white. Like, how fucking stupid do you have to be to say something like that, right? Like, well, what about women's sports? I don't know. I don't care about sports. Okay, good for you. Then the conversation is about you. That's like an even better reason for you to shut the fuck up then. Let the people that do care talk about it. Like, how fucking stupid are you?
Who says that they care about like high school women's sports is just a fucking liar. Like, absolutely a liar. They're lying to you.
Okay. So when people ask me about
The Boondocks take? Wait, which episode of the Boondocks was this? Oh, was this the moment? I feel so cucked. The one episode or whatever where the guy's like, oh, I don't care, I'm white. Yeah, okay.
this, right? Do we care about high school women's sports? Well, who cares about high school women's sports? And the people who live in that area traditionally do. There's plenty of high school teams that are heavily supported by their local community, the alumni, folks who come to watch. Depends on where you live. But this is not a matter of like, we care about each individual high school sport or college sports or anything like that. It's about the principle of what we're seeing unfold in front of us. That's all it comes down to. So folks out here saying, hey.
I think I've had 3 different coaches, which is surprising to me. I don't know. I don't know why I have that many like people that coach high school sports that watch me. But I think I've had 3 different coaches that emailed me, and my position used to be like, I don't know how I feel about like trans people in like any like gendered category sport, but I think my every single coach that's emailed me has given me the opinion, and I've changed my mind on this thing, that like high school sports and grade school sports, especially high school sports, are about like working with a team, getting active, like being physically active, building camaraderie with classmates, like getting to enjoy some level of competition. So in that case, it probably doesn't make sense to segregate people or trans people like out of high school sports. Like this might be developmentally some of the most important times for some of these people's lives. So to cut trans people out of high school sports completely seems unimaginably cruel. So I think I can agree with that. And then one of these people, one of these coaches, I think emailed me the same thing. I think it was a coach email with us. That's where I got that volleyball figure from, where they were like, listen, like oftentimes when people bring up these arguments, they kind of strawman you to this position where it's like, do trans people have to be in all sports, or do trans people just go into some sports? Hold on, was this person a coach? Okay. Quick background for me. While I'm not an athletic director or have a professional career in sports organization, I'm a licensed USA hockey coach. I played sports through the majority of my American competitive system, youth U20 levels. I don't know what the fuck that means. And I participate in the organization side. I currently work as a game designer in systems balancing and matchmaking. Okay, so this guy had some background. So something that he brought up that was interesting. It was this thing that I kind of brought up with the last person. When we get to college sports, the framing needs to be right. If you are an NCAA athlete, you are a top-tier athlete in the nation, even Division III, and male or female. And if a trans woman is participating in cis women's sports at the NCAA level, they are removing a cis woman from the limited pool that can participate in those leagues. This sounds very turf or a conservative point, but again, it's not that trans women don't have a place to participate in their sport. It's not even that they can't find a league that they can be the best player in. All of this can already be done. But trans women go a step further and say, I want to join a new category so that I can be crowned one of the best players in the category. There are 500,000 girls in high school volleyball players, and there are 5,700 girls in D1 NCAA volleyball, 17,000 girls in all of NCAA volleyball. The goalpost is a trans woman destroying the best records in the history of all of cis women, but rather the mere presence of trans women in cis NCAA sports as an indication that they are already in the top 1 to 3% of women athletes in the nation. That was an interesting point. I never really considered that. Like, I guess technically all of NCAA is technically like relatively elite when it comes to sports. Somebody just messaged me and said, Hasan is still going on about debates being bad for 2 hours.
Matter. To be fair, anyway, he's a liberal, so it doesn't really matter. To be fair, Wildman was here for.
He's
well,
a
he was
liberal?
on Twitch before.
What's wrong with liberals?
I
who's
don't-
a liberal?
I don't know.
Who are you? Who are you?
Wildman.
Oh, why are you calling him a liberal? Why do you think he's a liberal?
There are a couple of reasons. I mean, he's certainly
Wait.
not a socialist.
What's
Well,
a liberal?
Oh, is that a Professor Wolf answer?
A
Vosh.
liberal. A liberal is a person whose economic and social ideology derives from liberalism, or
No,
pointedly
don't
the
use
Enlightenment.
liberalism
Wait, what did he say? Was this a recent panel? Did this just happen?
in the I'm sorry.
Well,
sorry.
Why-
liberalism, the broader, Enlightenment philosophies, it tends to be associated with things like,
Wait, the question was, why is that guy a liberal? Why are you defining first what liberal is and then defining what liberal is? Why is the guy a liberal?
fine, you found me out. I don't actually think he's a
No.
liberal. Honest to God, I think he's probably closer to a fascist. I don't think that he embraces liberal values.
Wait, is Vosh even trying anymore? How does this guy have fans? I know that some of you in my fan base listen to Vosh. How do you do it? How do you make it through that? I don't understand. What is you guys? You have to be insane. You're crazier than Vosh is. What is happening with you guys? Please, somebody explain to me.
I don't actually think he's a liberal. Honest to God, I think he's probably closer to a fascist. I don't think that he embraces liberal values. I was just
wasn't
using
trying
the
to
term
get you.
liberal. I was
I
just
don't
using
know
the
what
term
these words
liberal.
mean.
Because I always call people fascists, and I get made fun of for it, even though I can substantiate it most of the time. So in
I
that
didn't even substantiate how he's a liberal.
case, I decided to go with liberal. But no, I think he's probably a fascist, yeah.
Okay, I just don't know what these words mean. And then you use liberalism in the definition of liberal.
Oh, she tweeted that. Oh, thank you. Nice. I understand. Big Joel said, the thing of if you use a word loosely at all, it means every use is fair game doesn't actually work or make sense. I disagree. My response was, how can you say that? Nazi, pedophile, communist, socialist, fascist, racist, rapist, etc. Literally none of these words mean anything anymore because they were all overused and expanded so much in the American lexicon, they essentially mean person I don't like. And then No Nothing comes in and he says, that's not true. Stop trying to gaslight. I don't know if he's memeing here by saying gaslight or whatever, but this is another really good example of it. Oh, no, he is trolling because he's showing gaslight is like a word that people use all the time. That I understand. He is trolling. I can't tell it. It's hard to tell him, right?
Doesn't seem very right to me or fair. Or doing it from a perspective like, my high school team, what's gonna happen to them? Most of us are coming from like, yo, we see something that seems clearly unjust. And it just doesn't sit right with the fact that everyone's closing their eyes like it's the Bird Box challenge because of some like political affiliation. Get what I'm saying?
There was a Bird Box challenge?
It feels like it, doesn't
Like
it?
motherfucker was walking in the street blindfolded?
That's what it feels like.
I ain't mad at that.
That's what it feels
I
like.
feel like that.
Hey, Hasan, I support trans women in sports, but please stop with if they dominated women's sports, it doesn't matter. It matters to plenty of women athletes out there, and the way to fight transphobia is with knowledge. Data's out there. The most trans women don't have a significant competitive edge in sports. Let them participate.
That's not
I mean, I
true.
mention that all the time as well.
That is not true.
That is not true.
See, if you would have done a well thought out response, you would have actually looked into it because most studies and the preliminary ones indicate that there's some measure of advantage. Yes, it is measurable, whether it be fucking bone density, lung capacity, all these things. Most of the studies do that. Now, there's still more data to come out, but undoubtedly, just judging by the fact that, like, looking at how much more successful trans women are compared to trans men.
No, not you.
Okay? And just what the studies that we have so far, the science is pretty indicative that there's an advantage. And remember what I told you last time?
What?
Where the standard is trash. The test levels or whatever they have to meet is like 6 times higher than average cis woman.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
So it's like you're not even really making them do a real transition where they're meeting like the normal levels of a cis woman after 1 year. So I don't understand how folks can say I'm doing a thoughtful response. It's going to be really good. Blah blah blah. Blasey blase. You watch it and it's like, bruv, this is full of nonsense and misinformation.
But it's been full of misinformation. How am I going to be surprised that it's full of misinformation from a guy that is misinformed about us?
Facts.
That he's spreading lies about us, saying that we said some shit that we haven't said, did some shit that we haven't done, putting words in our mouth, and now I gotta be surprised that he does this with numbers and statistics. Nah, I'm not surprised at all. That's what you do. Whatever it fits your narratives, that's a low key noble. That's a low key noble. Yeah, he lies, but it's for the cause, so it's good. No, it's not.
Oh, that's a Vosh position.
No, it's not. You're doing a big disservice to the cause.
Yep.
That you're serving by being low key noble, by lying.
I didn't want to go down
You're
here
lying.
yet.
You're straight up lying.
And that's precisely why I always say, like, even if they were dominating, which they usually aren't, even if they were dominating, who cares? Trans women are still women. You don't have this kind of attitude towards, like, any sort of tall people who are naturally tall. You don't have this sort of attitude towards Messi, who had to literally take supplements and steroids specifically to, I think, what is it, like combat early onset dwarfism, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you cherish people when...
What?
You don't have this attitude towards tall people, or Lionel Messi, who had to take some injections when he was a kid to combat dwarfism. So basically, he has like an unfair advantage because he was given steroids as a kid. This is. Oh man.
Are we done?
Hey, bro.
Listen, because the thing is this.
Go for it. Talk to me.
Like I said before, in every freaking videos we do on this fucking subject.
Right.
There's nothing else I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that I haven't said.
Yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. It feels like you're just smacking your head against the wall.
No, I'm
Straight up.
Yeah. But for some people, they like a bit of that pain. I think I'm one of those people.
Am I just going down to an area I've already been at before? Is that where I'm headed right now?
You don't think I know? I've repeated some lines.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, bitch, I said this verbatim last time.
Yeah.
100%.
Verbatim.
Even like some of the audience members are probably like mouthing the words before they even come out my mouth.
Straight up. They know.
They know.
They know.
We know. Yeah. So we know. Technically speaking, there is no such thing as men's sports. There's just sports. And there's female sports. If women could compete in the male diamond, they can join. But they can't. And so we segregate them.
Yeah.
It's not because there's no such thing as men's sport. There's no men's tennis. There's tennis, and there's women's tennis. Serena Williams doesn't exist without women's tennis.
Does it sound too big to fail at this point? It's just because he looks good.
That's not our words.
That's what's going on.
By the way,
That's
not our words. That's the roll the clip. That's not us.
That's right.
That's her saying that.
That's her.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's
honestly,
a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit hard. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
So whenever John McEnroe was saying, "Yo, she's the best female tennis player," she said that herself.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We want to hear from you.
Members of this community who like them and like you too, that were sad you guys had a disagreement. I think this was just bait. I mean, maybe. If they're like kind of woke on other issues and they shit on like Fresh and Fit and stuff like that, there probably is.
You watch it and it's like, bruv, this is full of nonsense and misinformation. I don't understand how folks can say, I'm doing a thoughtful response, it's going to be really good, blah, 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 blase, blase. You watch it and it's like, bruv, this is full of nonsense and misinformation.
Nonsense and misinformation. Where is the nonsense? Where is the nonsense and misinformation? It's just like in your mind, in your heart. I think, right? Is that what's going on? I'm a little confused on this. You know, I am very confused. I'm just not very smart. I think that's what it is. You know, focus on their. I'm not smart enough to understand, but wait, hold on. Isn't this the video? Not the video? Oh, it is the video. Okay. have to pee so fucking bad.
Misinformation. How am I going to be surprised that it's full of misinformation from a guy that is misinformed about us?
Bro, I don't think I'm misinformed about you guys. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
he's clout sharking so hard now.
You guys
I didn't even know anything about you until I saw your sub
you
count.
did this video, and now I'm recognizing that I was like 100% correct on. I mean, I predicted your talking points. I predicted why you would fake moral outrage. I also, said that you were engaging in transphobic arguments. They're already working on their next video. I'm sure it'll happen. And then they'll clip chimp it once again. They'll literally do the same thing.
They'll clip chimp it?
They are going to turn around and fucking clip like literally a 20-second fucking mention and then make it seem like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about again. And then they're going to cut another video for like 20 minutes to 30 minutes, okay? And then the cycle will fucking continue. Just called them chips. What the fuck? Clip chimping is not a fucking specific term. Shut the fuck up.
They got him.
Don't do that. Don't fucking do that, you little shit. Clip chimping means you're fucking clipping something out of context, okay? It's an internet terminology.
Abba, if you're listening, please just put that in your next video as evidence of him being racist.
Dude. Holy fuck.
He'll lose his fucking mind.
And I'm willing to have a conversation with them, but I don't think that's going to be productive at all. Especially after seeing all this shit, dude. Come the fuck on. I don't think I'm going to be able to change these guys' minds. They're getting 800,000 to 1 million views on every fucking transphobic video they can.
Transphobic?
So, why the fuck would they?
True.
Why do people do this to you? Also, that shadow just clip chimped you talking about clip chimping? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, clip channels. Don't clip any of this fucking shit. We'll do it ourselves. So you don't clip this out of context. Even though that's not going to stop them, they're going to still probably clip shit out of context regardless.
Facts.
That he's spreading lies about us, saying that we said some shit that we haven't said, did some shit that we haven't done, putting words in our mouth, and now I gotta be surprised that he does this with numbers and statistics. Nah, I'm not surprised.
I don't think they understand what I'm saying. What I'm stating is not that trans women don't have any fucking advantages. Some trans women don't have any fucking advantages over some cis women. Saying that they can, but ultimately I still don't care, and neither should you, because there are advantages of many, many different kinds. That's what makes sports great. You guys are not talking past each other. Don't say you guys are talking past each other. We're not. There's a difference. There's a difference in like purposely and maliciously fucking making, shitting on me, okay, and saying that I was wrong to call them transphobic or assume that they were transphobic without even looking at their fucking video.
What the? Oh my god, the delay on that.
But like, yeah, I was definitely a fan of both of y'all. Preach actually has a Quebecois channel on the side called On se fera pas d'amis, which means we are not making friends. Saddens me to see this from them, misrepresenting your point for sure. I mean, yeah, they're fucking incredibly, I
bad faith.
As open-minded as possible.
Yeah, he's so open-minded, guys. He just called them transphobic after watching 30 seconds of their video. Of course he's open-minded.
I wanted to understand what was going on, you know? I wanted to see why they arrived at this. So, it's just... This is fucked up. They're just smearing you to using the drama. I'm reading a comment. This is fucked up. They're smearing you using the drama sickos that already harass you everywhere to get views and content. Yeah.
He's such a victim, dude. Oh, they're just trying to pile on with all the other harassers, man. Like, bro, you're a millionaire. Like every other month, you earn another $1 million. How are you so fragile? How is that big body and that big wallet and that big WeHo fucking mansion so negatively impacted by randos on the internet? I don't understand how one man can crack in so many different places every time somebody's mean to him online.
Bro, do you have a cause? What's your cause? I don't think your cause is like pro-trans, if we're being honest. This doesn't strike me as a particularly pro-LGBT channel. I'm gonna be honest. How the fuck? What's the cause, dude? Your cause seems to be on the other side of the trans argument. Let's be real. Like, what the fuck?
Have you
I'm
engaged
lying
with
for my
any of these
cause,
videos?
I mean, this is the cause. Let's be real.
What is Hasan's history? Roll the footage. What is Hasan's history with trans jokes?
Stand drama, because that's the only way
Roll
to
it.
get content.
Roll the Lady Gaga clip. I'll watch this a million times. But I'm actually too lazy to find it, so never mind.
How fucking awesome. I mean, I guess I'm hurting their cause, which is, you know, transphobia and spreading transphobia while also simultaneously claiming that they're not transphobic.
That's actually what they were going to name the channel that. Being transphobic and spreading transphobia is the cause. And then I think they just went with Ab and Preach because it was shorter. Something about branding, I think.
Oh, hey.
This is the causes that Hasan used to advocate for, not transphobic.
You there. I'm Hasan Piker, and this is Bro Tip. This week's Bro Tip is about bringing out the alpha male in you. A few things to consider when you're thinking about Lady Gaga as a top contender for Babe of the Week should be the fact that she might have a penis. The fact that Lady Gaga might have a small penis does absolutely terrify me. Here's why the 5-second rule works. Because when you start thinking for longer than 5 seconds, you're immediately not thinking with your dick and also thinking with this pesky thing up here that we like to call our brains. So once you start thinking with your brain, you're immediately going to psych yourself out. Come back again next week when we discuss the legendary question of all time. Old enough to count, old enough to mount? Question mark?
Not to say that he still believes these things, but like, I mean, bro, your history is like super frat boyish. Like, you're gonna have to do better than showing a bunch of titles on a YouTube channel to...
All. I was reading a fucking chat message and there's a clear question mark in the end of that. But hey, listen, if enough people already have, let me tell you something. If enough people already have like a transphobic attitude, then it doesn't matter. You could just like, or if enough people are not going to be charitable regardless, then you could just say whatever the fuck you want about someone. And those haters will believe you, you know?
You're straight up lying.
You literally have no arguments besides they were transphobic. I mean, the conversation is about why I called them transphobic and why they're saying that they're not. Comments on the old Lady Gaga joke from me? Yeah, I was transphobic. I was transphobic. You fucking idiot. Diss you? Really? You're going to pull me a diss you, dumbass? You're coming to the wrong fucking place for that. It's something that I've admitted over and over again, you dumb bitch.
Uh-oh, somebody brought it up.
Diss you?
Shit.
Yeah. You found a fucking clip from like 8 years ago. Dumb bitch.
He's mad. Oh shit, you set him off.
Growth and change is what's fucking awesome, okay? Human beings are complex. Human beings are sometimes wrong. Human beings can have bigoted opinions, especially when it comes to transphobia, okay? This is such an overarching normative position that everyone believes in. Is gender is very deeply personal to us, and the way we're taught about gender is that it's rigid and it's a binary, and no other fucking person can have a take outside of that. Okay?
Wow.
So of course,
he has such a nuanced view when it comes to himself.
I had transphobic opinions, something that I am incredibly honest about. As a matter of fact, that's what guides my conversations with people who are still transphobic.
Oh,
the starting point for most people is transphobia. Okay?
I don't even know if that's true, actually, but you probably have to culturally get pushed in that direction, but... Like, I bet if you grew up with, like, trans people in your life and you never really had it, like, shoved down your throat...
And I'm understanding
horrible, I don't know
that.
if you care as much.
Okay? More so because, well, one, because I have the privilege of being cis, but I'm understanding of that because, you know, I think people can change.
Was my last tweet too much,
So
do you
it's
think?
kind of fucking silly to constantly bring that up. which is sad.
I think
You're
it might
just
have been.
basically admitting that you are incapable of changing. Why can't you apply the same nuance to these two if you can recognize that for yourself? Because they just cut this video out on April 8th. I'm not saying they can, I'm not saying they're incapable of not being. What? Dude, holy fuck. The moment that trans issues gets brought up, dude, there's some fucking sick freaks, dude, immediately.
Oh, yeah? Tell us about it.
What if they're just talking about trans content or news or something? How does that make them transphobic? I'm having trouble understanding.
Uh-oh. Is that guy about to get a big ban?
Oh, dude, this is incredibly, incredibly disingenuous, man.
Is this a boss I fought once before?
How do you expect them to change if your only criticism is you're transphobic without dissecting their points beyond the transphobic talking point?
Ooh. True.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Because they're not being honest. Why are you expecting them to be charitable when they're not being charitable? Just curious, Andy.
Just curious, Andy.
I've also gone through their talking points. They're irrelevant. It was a non sequitur about like a trans woman potentially having prostate cancer.
Does he not understand the... He probably doesn't, to be fair, actually. Probably doesn't even understand what
they're in
bringing
here.
up.
I think we're being brigaded. Mods, we're being brigaded. I'm going to be honest with you.
He's so fragile. Mods, we got a 487 here.
If they weren't transphobic, they wouldn't be rage baiting in a one-sided direction. Trans people universally have a bunch of systematic disadvantages and oppression. Society fixate on the one singular instance. Some trans people might have the slightest advantage and ignore that.
Jesus.
Where is the rage baiting about how long trans people have had to wait for hormone compared to cis people who get them prescribed for baldness? Yeah. Well,
Yeah, nice.
I like many of the points you made in the past, but you're wrong about this. What are they being? What are they being wrong about in this situation? One, they literally clipped me reacting to a chatter with a question mark, made it seem like I was saying that about them. Okay, like that was my take on them at all. When I was openly admitting that I don't know anything about them and trying to figure them out. Two, they were upset that I said I don't even need to know their takes because I know what their takes are. I've heard it a million times over from every other person that is transphobic. I don't know if they are, but every other person is transphobic.
Then how can you assume that's
this
their
exact
take?
same argument. And then I thoroughly went through the talking points, and also, they are using TERF talking points non-fucking stop, talking about how like trans women have significant competitive advantages and therefore should not.
How is that a TERF talking
against
point?
Cis women. They clipped me not only out of context, but they took the least charitable position they possibly could. And even in instances where they should be agreeing with me and then talking about what our disagreements would be, which is trans women. Some trans women might have advantages over some cis women. Okay? It's true. It can happen. 100%. But to bar all trans women from competing as a consequence of that is fucking ridiculous. To bar those trans women from competing is ridiculous as well, because there are natural and unnatural advantages that every athlete holds over one another. That's what makes sports great, and that's what makes sports interesting. Now, I'm repeating these same exact conversations. I'm repeating these exact same conversations over and over again for bad faith people right now. And they also brought up the fucking trans panic shit by bringing up like bathroom predators and whatnot, and then simultaneously, serve themselves an out by saying, "Oh, I'm not saying they're all like this, but some can." Okay, then you would tackle those people, not random trans women that are competing, unless you have an actual proof that Leah Thomas is actually a liar and a man and not a trans woman and is simply doing this to win athletic competitions. But you don't have that. So that's why you're just bringing that up, that trans women sometimes lie. It's whatever, everybody lies. Oh, what the fuck? It's so disingenuous. And the only reason why you would actually fucking believe this is if you believe the takes that they're bringing out.
I don't even know where we're at right now. They
also said you had a Jordan Peterson moment, then literally repeated all of his talking points. Yeah, I don't understand why, if they're against Jordan Peterson or pro Jordan Peterson is very weird.
It's very important to figure that out. We gotta. What team are they on? Figure it out.
He lied. He lied, but it's for the cause, so it's good. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're not. You're doing a big disservice to the cause. That's your serving.
Yeah, your cause, which is spreading transphobia.
Being low-key noble by lying like that. You're lying. You're straight up lying.
And that's precisely why I always say, like, even if they were dominating, which they usually aren't, even if they were dominating, who cares? Trans women are still women. They don't have this kind of attitude towards, like, any sort of tall people who are naturally tall. You don't have this sort of attitude towards Messi, who had to literally take supplements and steroids specifically to, I think, what is it, like combat early onset dwarfism, if I'm not mistaken?
There's a
like,
difference.
You cherish people.
Like,
What the fuck did he just say?
You don't have this attitude towards tall people. Or
we're listening to them listening to Hasan style. Sorry.
Kid to combat dwarfism. So basically, he has like an unfair advantage because he was given steroids as a kid. This is.
Would Hasan have sex with a pre-op trans woman? If she was famous, yeah. Duh.
Okay, what's the counter to that?
The counter to that is that taking medication as a child to overcome a disease that makes it so that your body isn't going to be fucked isn't the same as having a genetic advantage training in another gender when you're doing gendered sports. What do you mean? These are not comparable at all. That's so stupid. That's like some guy saying like, hey, like I should be able to roid the fuck up and compete in sports. And you're like, well, that's not fair. And you're like, oh, really? You think that's not fair? But when you had leukemia, you got fucking chemotherapy. And when you were recovering from chemotherapy, they gave you like fucking drugs that like made you feel better. So you were allowed to have drugs to make you feel better, but I can't use drugs to make me train. Like what? Or like, it's like the dumbest fucking thing. Or like, oh, like I got HGH because if I didn't, because I would have been like fucking 3'8". Like how is this even like a comparable thing? It's like not, it's not even the same class of like, if you could prove that he was using these drugs or steroids up to like, you know, age 18 or 22 to get like huge, then sure, maybe you have like a bigger talking point, but.
You haven't said anything. That's the dumbest way to do a take. That's the.
I'm sure they have a wait. Hold on.
That's not roll the clip. That's not us.
That's right.
Not our.
There's
Wait, what? Combat early.
Just say.
You don't have this attitude towards tall people or Lionel Messi, who had to take some injections when he was a kid to combat dwarfism. So basically, he has like an unfair advantage because he was given steroids as a kid. This is.
They said transitioning is not a natural thing, and when I'm saying like, well, here's an instance where someone is also, using medicine as an advantage and overcoming, great plight that way. Where's the fucking?
Oh man.
Are we done?
Hey, bro.
Listen, because the thing is this.
Go for it.
I'm waiting for somebody in Hasan's chat to tell him that I talked to Abba, and then his brain is going to completely shut down. And he's going to be like, oh, I get it. It's a Destiny dick rider. That's what's... it's coming. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I haven't said.
Yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. It feels like you're just smacking your head against the wall.
Straight up.
Yeah.
He was born with a disadvantage. Trans women are born with an advantage. It's a bad take. Oh, my God, dude.
Oh, my God.
Bro, it doesn't matter. Then trans women are taking fucking literally a blocker that gives them a disadvantage, a significant fucking disadvantage. Whereas Messi took a fucking a steroid that would help him, okay? That gave him an advantage.
Yeah. But for some people, they like a bit of that pain. I think I'm one of those people. Like, you don't think I know? I've repeated some lines. Yeah. I'm like, oh, bitch, I said this verbatim last time. Yeah. 100%.
Verbatim.
Even the crowd. Like,
I think they think you're being ableist with Messi or whatever. Wait, what the fuck?
Some of the audience members are probably like mouthing the words before they even come out of my mouth.
Straight up, they know.
They know.
They know.
We know. Yeah. So we know. Technically speaking, there is no such thing as men's sports. There's just sports. And there's female sports.
I love that they just completely overshot. They literally just went. They're saying that you're being bigoted. It's an appeal to an emotion that a person born with a disability is more sympathetic. Wait, what the fuck? Wait. So hormone therapy in certain instances is okay if it's a cis man, but hormone therapy is not okay if it's a trans woman. So you're once again finding yourself otherizing trans women. That's it. Right? That's what's going on. Am I Am I wrong? They didn't even mention it. They didn't even say anything about that. They
It's
just laughed
just
it
such
off.
an unbelievably stupid. I honest to God, I don't even know how I would argue against that.
What
I
the
would have to
fuck?
think for a moment,
Online
because of
discourse
how
about debate,
unbelievably
wrong farmers,
fucking
and straight
stupid this
cognitive
argument
biases
is.
pushed onto their audience about others' actual taste. Doesn't matter that you spent all stream or Adam's video unpacking it, or all this time in this video. It just matters that they can find 30-second clips to fit their narrative.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to do about this other than, I guess
Talk it out.
let you guys know if
Oh.
you are.
It could never
genuinely-
actually
if you're
like bring them on in
genuinely
chat.
interested in this,
Could never do that. That's
you will be able to
unfathomable.
find out.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't actually make a point. We're just trying to understand what their point is.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
they
all
didn't make a
Hasan
point.
wants
They
to
just
do.
laughed.
They're just he's trying to understand, dude. They're just trying to understand.
Why did they just like keep the point in? Why would they even mention that and then go, "Oh fuck, that sucks, man. That's so stupid, actually," and then they ignored it.
Women could compete in the male diamond.
They
can
would.
join.
They can
but
join.
they can't. And so we segregate them.
Yeah.
It's not because there's no such thing as men's sport. There's no men's tennis. There's
It's
tennis,
tennis.
and there's women's tennis. Serena Williams doesn't exist without women's tennis. She's not getting no dubs, no wins. Nobody cares.
That's not our word, by the way.
That's hers.
That's not our words. That's not
hers.
roll the clip. That's not us.
That's right.
That's her saying
That's
that.
her.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
So whenever.
Okay. The average man is stronger than the average woman. This bears nothing on the conversation about trans women competing with cis women and why that should not be allowed. This is completely irrelevant to the argument, especially considering that I
Wait.
even say personally.
J.K. Rowling is banned from Twitch? What? Is that real?
Just one pure advantage over the next.
What is happening in the world?
This makes no sense. It has no basis in reality either, by the way. Because once again, if that was true, then trans women would be fucking destroying. You're saying average, but athletes are in the top echelon? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I gotta pee, okay?
Takes are rewarded with a sweet dope.
Hello.
Hi.
I feel like you always call me, so I want to call you for once.
Oh, well, what's up, buddy? Hi, fellow transphobe.
You know what? I need your help. I feel like maybe I got my blinders on. All right. I want to believe that the individual is not.
Oh,
stupid.
you've come to the wrong place, my friend. Okay. Hi.
But I'm hoping you can bridge the gap. I want you to be as charitable as possible. And if you were to make that other side of the argument, maybe you can help me explain to me how. Because maybe I'm missing it. You know what I'm saying? So I always like to hear it from a different perspective.
Oh, okay. This is a charitable interpretation of quote unquote the other side, not Hasan.
Okay.
Hasan is too stupid to understand any of these things. Okay.
Okay.
So do we have that clear? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So
All right.
here's the issue. Okay. The issue is that people on the left are traumatized by both explicitly bad faith actors on the right and dog whistly bad faith actors on the right. The thing is that there's like a million different issues that you could talk about, but like if you focus on a few all the time, people start to associate those issues with a particular point of view. So for instance, there's nothing like, let's say that like I want to talk to you about like black stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to talk about how like gang culture, drugs, and how rap music, I think, leads to a lot of black problems. Now, all three of those topics are legitimate discussions, but if I bring this up over and over again, you're probably going to get a certain view of me, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so what happens is when that interaction happens and it's iterated over social media, real life, politicians, over and over and over again, what happens in the future is once we've moved past that, you get a well-meaning guy that comes up and he's like, I really want to talk about, like, I think that a lot of the stuff, sexism, homophobia that gets perpetuated in rap music, I think that actually boils down into bad things with like black youth. As soon as somebody hears that, everybody's like, what the fuck? It's a racist fuck. This guy's a racist motherfucker that he's about to say some crazy shit, race bill, and you automatically, people are putting you in the worst box possible. And I think that that's happened a lot with trans issues, to where for the past like 5 to 10 years, transphobic people will harp on, because you're never really gonna come out and be like, I hate trans people. You're not gonna say that. What you're gonna say is that like, I think that there are a lot of trans people that aren't really trans. They detransition, you know, there's a lot of fake stuff. I think that the kids are being harmed. You've got instances where like LGBT people are grooming it, right? You're always gonna focus on like these types of issues, which on their own, there might be some merit, but taken collectively and then presented by a person kind of makes your mind do this defensive thing where you instantly start to assume that they are that prior transphobe in this case, or racist or homophobic person or sexist or whatever. You start to group them with the people in the past that would only ever make these arguments because they didn't want to go, you know, like the full 9 yards or whatever. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
But the issue is that like, I think this is a trauma response. It really is. And trauma responses are, by definition, irrational. We should eliminate them. If somebody wants to come up and talk to me, and I hear them ask a question, like if a boomer comes up to me and they're like, don't you think like if you play a lot of violent video games, don't you think that could cause like some violent? I'm not gonna like roll my eyes and assume that like, oh God, here it's Jack Thompson, like time for this. I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. I'm not gonna be instantaneously PTSD'd every time somebody brings it up. But people act like that. They get like super PTSD'd over it. I don't think there's an excuse for like non-trans people to get PTSD over it because you're not trans, what the fuck? But I do think that I'll give a lot more leeway to the affected groups because you can only defend your existence for so long before you're like, Jesus fuck, like I don't want to be on trial every single day for who I am, you know?
Yeah, it can be exhausting to have to try to defend that if you feel like a lot of it's bad faith or if you feel like it's the same negative rhetoric that you hear all the time and sometimes from people who are bad actors. I can understand that frustration. And to be fair, I feel like on my end, I've definitely felt like this topic has come up a lot over the last few years. But it's also, maybe you have this as well. I don't know if it's like this for you, but I feel like for me, I don't take holistic approaches to most issues. Meaning like I don't really cover Asian folks or like issues that happen within the Asian community, for example, right? But let's say if some specific negative thing happened, it was in the zeitgeist, I probably would cover it briefly. And I would have a lot of people who might come to me afterwards and be like, you only talk about us when it's negative or some shit like that.
Sure, because it's like a current
I feel like
thing.
most commentaries around negative things or disagreeing opinion, you're rarely going to make a video and be like, well, this is why I agree with trans folks 110%, because nobody's going to watch anything like that, nor is it something you're really going to sit there and think about. Am I crazy to say that? Is that weird?
No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. We just have to be mindful of what it looks like sometimes, I guess.
Sure.
The biggest concern that I have, the thing that I look for is I'm always trying to be mindful of like what type of audience am I getting. So like when I look at my subreddit, because there are a couple people that hear me and they're like, holy shit, Destiny finally hates trans people. He's base now. There are some people that think that. But when these people show up like in my subreddit and they start making comments, or when they show up like in my Twitter mentions and they start making comments, they get overwhelmingly shit on by community, by my community. So I think that's a good thing. If I started to go through my YouTube comments or my subreddit and I started to see like really upvoted comments about like, oh, like this girl's a man or stuff like that, like really like shitty transphobic comments, and they started to get upvotes, well, now I'd be worried that like, okay, well, hold on. I'm giving so much attention to this side. I think that people that watch me think I believe this thing, and they're starting to feel emboldened by the arguments that I'm making. And I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not here to empower transphobes or to make trans people feel shitty or to give ammunition to that side of the argument, if that makes sense.
Right. So do you think as a result you avoid certain topics as to not feel that, even though you know what's being said is like probably incorrect or just.
I try not to avoid. I know I'll never avoid something, but I'll try to caveat a lot depending on what we're talking about. Because we talk
What
about
do
a
you
lot.
mean by caveat?
So like I've said this a million times. I hope it helps. I guess. I mean, like my audience isn't super transphobic yet, so I guess maybe. But like I'm gonna die again because I'm a fucking moron. Like something I'll say like a million times is like, these are like online trans activists. These are not the normal trans person. These are terminally online crazy trans. It's not the average trans person. Like the average trans person is super chill. Like there are a lot of trans people in my community that are super chill. There are trans people online that are chill, but the online activist community is great. So like I'll try to like clarify that a million times because I don't want people to get the impression that like the lunatics I'm arguing with are somehow representative or like the average trans person.
Yeah, I think I definitely see that in my audience, or at least a certain segment of it. You know, I see people get mad if I use a preferred pronouns of an individual wants. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, use whatever pronouns you want, you know. But I see some folks who get upset. I just don't know if I make nearly the concerted effort you do. But I think I understand what you're trying to mitigate. I think
I don't want anybody ever watching my stuff and feeling like they're being like empowered or uplifted by me because I'm also a transphobe. I don't want that feeling. I don't want to contribute that to the world. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. To your previous point, which is like a certain repetition of something, and then the association with folks who are bad actors or who just want to say negative things about that. I think that probably is fueling some of that response. Then, I just struggle. Maybe this issue for me is like such a strange one because I think it's like the maybe one of the strongest examples. Because like sometimes folks I'd be like, why don't you talk about like right-wing related issues or things like that? But I don't know. I've told you this to you. It's like the people around me aren't politically leaning that way. The folks who I see on a regular basis, their ideology doesn't lean that way. I deal mostly with liberal people, so most of the stuff that's affected me personally has been from people that lean that way. So I think is why I'm like personally annoyed by a lot of it. I feel much more. I don't deal with like the right wing super racist types. Like that's not something I see.
Yeah.
So
and culturally, they're so much weaker, right? There's not a lot of culture looking at like. Like I'm never gonna see like a TV series where there's like the lead villain is like a transgender gay person, right? Like, and I'm gonna be like, oh well, is this kind of weird how they deal with this? That's never gonna happen. But I am gonna see a million new series where like it's like the Disney Channel cast of like the bad guy's always white. There's always gonna be at least like one brown, one woman, one whatever. Like all the quotas are hit or whatever, and it feels a little bit weird sometimes. So like of course the commentary is gonna be a little bit more attuned to that. Yeah.
For me, it's even worse because I've done dance for a long time, and then after that, stand up. Like exclusively, the only people you hear from politically are folks who lean left. That's it. There really is zero representation, which I'm not mad at. There's probably a reason why there's an overrepresentation of liberal people. It's probably how it in the arts. It probably leans towards like their political leanings. That they're much more encouraged to do arts. But that's all I hear about. So when I get concerned or start thinking about topics, it's always from that lens. It's more so about the people I deal with. I'm sure if I lived in an environment where racism was much more prevalent and I was dealing with all the time, maybe that would become a thing. But to get back to the original point, I feel like the trans sports issue and like some of the nonsense I hear around it is kind of like a representative, if you will, for a lot of the nonsensical takes that I feel like the left takes. It's just it's pure nonsense. Most people can see that it's nonsense, and yet they'll still try to die on this hill, and it makes me cringe unbelievably that they're saying things that are just so devoid of any reality, and it's frustrating to some degree. And so I find myself keep coming back to it because I'm like, this is the one. Like this embodies what I think a lot of this nonsense. Is that you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. It's like, and it sucks because it sucks to make trans people who already have to deal with so much crazy shit in life. Like, by the way, your identity is going to be the battlefield that we're all staking our positions on. And most trans people are like, bro, I just want to fucking be like a normal person and live. I don't want my whole identity to be like the centerfold fucking battlefield for conservative and liberal ideology. But yeah, unfortunately, that does seem to be the case, that like this is the most wedge issue. And it is where people like stake the most unbelievable and untenable positions. So yeah.
I mean, one of the positions I heard today was like, I know they're just saying they know they're advantaged. Okay, they know we know
it's moved more extreme. We know advantage, but we don't care.
We don't care. Why? Because people had advantages in different ways.
Yeah,
and my reply to that is like, okay, well then let's just get rid of the female category altogether.
But no, you can't. Oh, you're not. Yeah, you're not caught up on the conversation. There are a lot of people that will just say that. Like at that point, like, yeah, I've had multiple conversations now where people will just say like, yeah, fuck it, like let's just get rid of gendered categories. But then at that point, it's like, okay, well now all the turfy arguments about like invading and destroying women's spaces, you understand that you're kind of empowering that sect of people, because now it sounds like that was a true thing, right?
That's also part of it. But then it's like, let's just get rid of weight classes in boxing, you know, like Floyd Mayweather should be boxing Mike Tyson. Let's get rid of everything, because who cares if you're smaller or you weigh 60 pounds less in fighting sports? It doesn't really matter, because you were born to rich parents.
Sure, yeah.
Or you're black, and black people have better muscle twitch fibers. Like, you know, I'm hearing some of this stuff, and I'm like, do you motherfuckers hear yourself? Like, how crazy you sound right now? But you're boasting about this. Like, even the one with like the dwarfism, I was like, well, how am I supposed to reply to that? I really sat back and heard that shit, and I was like, am I the retarded one for thinking this is one of the dumbest replies?
I always have to like, and I'll do this in conversation. I've even done this today in conversation. I'll be like, okay, hold on. Let's get out of the debate mode and let's back up and let's like think like, what the fuck are we actually talking about right now? Because I think I just had a conversation with somebody who was like, fuck, what was Dario saying? Fuck, I don't remember what he was saying specifically, but I was like, let's back up and let's think for a moment. Like, what are you actually advocating for right now? Because whatever you're talking about, we're like society. It was, I think I asked a question where he said something like, well, let's say like trans women weren't even that competitive in sports, would it be okay then? I was like, well, no, like what if there were certain weak men that could compete with women? And I think his response was like, well, I don't think that would be the worst thing. Like, I wouldn't care if like weak men would compete with women. It's like, okay, well, let's take a step back and like think like, okay, what do we say right now? Because we're way outside of the cultural norm. We're really far away from like what any normal like person in society would be okay with. Like, are these really the arguments we need to be having right now? Yeah.
Bro, why don't we just let adults compete with kids if they're not that talented?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I said that same thing earlier. Like, this is right. Like, if you could find me some really weak high schoolers that were competitive with like people in middle school, that doesn't mean that they should be competing together. Like, no, that's not how that works, right? Yeah.
And then if they win, you know, how are we going to take that shit seriously? We're seeing a grown ass man with his grown body competing with a 10-year-old. Like, well, normally he's not that competitive.
We finally have Cat Williams, basketball star, taking revenge on the fucking middle schooler that fucking beat his ass. Yeah. Jesus.
And I sit back sometimes and I think, am I crazy? Like, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm missing it. Or maybe there's a context I don't know, because I don't like inundate myself with this stuff. So maybe they just know things I don't. One of the things that was said also, like, I was trying to explain this to you, but I was making the point that that sports isn't a matter of gender expression. So the fact that trans women are women is really relevant to the discussion, because when they separated the sports in men's sports and women's sports, they weren't thinking like gender expression. They were basically just talking about their biology, right? It's really female and male sports.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to say?
No, it's true. But there is a, oh man, I don't know if somebody has a link to this. I don't want to over exaggerate, but I want to say there was a Twitter thread with, I want to say it had over 10,000 likes. I could be wrong though, so somebody can find me wrong. But basically, the argument was by some, I think it was a woman professor, who was saying that women's sports were only created because women were starting to beat men and men wanted to protect themselves, so they made women's sports. And it was getting like, I don't know if anybody has a link to that thread, but I want to say that was getting like some unbelievable engagement to me. And I was like, no shot that this is actually true. Or that people actually believe it. Yeah.
I think it's people who don't actually do sports who say stuff like that. But like anybody who's done sports knows better. So that's why I don't know. I feel like with Reddit, I just judge a lot of the people who go on there and say some stuff. Like, there's no way you've ever done sports.
True. People in my chat are saying that it had like 60,000 likes. I hope that's not the case. But
if you guys can send it to me, please. I feel like there's going to be another money video.
Oh boy. That's a wild thread. But that is something that I notice as well, is a lot of people I think are just like really clueless about sports.
Right.
Like I just had an argument with another guy today that was calling me evil and blah 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 on Twitter, and then I brought him on and tried to have a chill conversation, and he was telling me that like he thought that women would probably be competitive with men, but they're just not because of social reasons. But like if a woman trained like from birth as much as like a man trained, they'd probably be like pretty similar athletically. And I was like, bro, you just have like it's like, and dude, being calm in those kinds of conversations is so hard, because like not only does he not know like in an athletic sense, it's pretty clear he just doesn't know any women, which is mean to say, but like you're clueless, you're utterly clueless. And yeah, I run into those types of arguments a lot too. Well, maybe it's a socialization thing that's pushing women away from men's sports.
Oh my days. I can't with that. Yeah, so so what I was saying is essentially that's how they segregate sports, right? It wasn't a matter of gender expression, it's about biology. What really matters is really that. And I was basically making the analogy that even when you go to the doctor's office, yes, you're a trans woman, but when it comes to certain diseases and risk factors, they're going to acknowledge your biological sex, and it's going to factor in because of the fact that, well, listen, males are more at risk for certain things. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
And that turned out to be like the most transphobic point I could have made, apparently. I was so confused when I heard that. Apparently saying that is transphobic.
Yeah, it's it's this weird game that we had to play, and it's happened with every word, right? To where like people, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure even I've said this, like trans women are women. It's like, yeah, sure, like trans women are women. I can get behind that statement. But like when we're saying that, we're talking about like ontologically, we're talking about the social category of what a woman is, right? We're not like actually saying descriptively that like a cis woman and a trans woman are the same. This would be dumb for so many different reasons. Not the least of all in that like, well now, like, why the fuck does a trans woman need access to special drugs or whatever? If you're a woman, like, you shouldn't need HRT, you're fine, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to do this. And it's happened with other words too, right? Where it's like, like, this is rape. It's like, oh yeah, sure, that's rape. Okay, sure, that's rape. And then pretty soon we're in a world where like, well, hold on, wait, well, what the fuck is rape? Like this guy, tried to fuck his girlfriend when she was sleeping. He woke up, she woke up, she said she didn't like it, he stopped, he's a rapist. It's like, okay, wait, well, hold on. Like all forms of rape are rape. It's like, okay, yeah, but well, like maybe we need to be like a little bit more careful about how we talk about these things, because like every word is just like crazy now. Yeah, I linked you that thread, by the way. It had 40,000 likes. You can peruse that in your own time. That's a wild read.
That's another YouTube video. I'm about to make a couple G's.
Oh my god, dude, unreal, just unreal.
I'm kind of grateful for these crazy takes because it's good content and it's money, but at the same time, you just hear some of this stuff. You're like, how are these real people and how do they navigate the world like thinking some of this shit? Like, they really don't acknowledge it. Even the dude who said, like, well, men, if they weren't socialized the same as women, they'd be just as competitive. It's like, then why do you think women are terrified of men when it comes to any kind of physical alteration?
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, this is my take exactly. I've used this for conversations. I think with Alabrel, and I think with another person where I talked about like it was trans sports like 2 years ago, and they were like, well, on average, like there are a lot of women that can compete with men like physically, and I'm like, bro, okay, well then can we stop crying about fucking rape culture or whatever? Like if the average woman is about as strong as the average man, they should be able to fight them off. Who the fuck cares, right? But like, now all of a sudden you've hurt your other social arguments because you're being so stubborn and stupid about like one particular issue that you're like obsessed with,
So going forward with this particular topic, because I feel like it's such a, I don't know. I've just heard the most ridiculous things this entire time since it's begun. How do you think you even handle this conversation? Is it something you keep hashing out, or do you just feel like the people who are trying to be brain dead on this?
I have a lot of mixed feelings, but a lot of it is very personal, so not necessarily like to the public discourse. I'm working on a huge manifesto about my band and Vosh and some other things related to this argument, and then once I do that, I really hope to move on from it, because I think it's really shitty. I don't like this. I don't like having this argument a lot for two reasons. One is because like it constantly feels like I'm shitting on women to constantly say over and over again like women are weak, they can't compete, blah, blah, blah. Like I hate just saying that over and over again. It feels like really chauvinistic. It really does. It really feels like really shit. Like we're so much better as men. So I don't like doing that over and over again. It feels shitty. Number one, and then number two, like I feel really bad that trans people have so many issues with society, and we have to drag these fucking issues out. And when you're trans, you have like a target on your back by in allies or like other cis people or whatever. And it's like part of the biggest part of the trans experience is like trying to blend in and be a part of society. And like when everybody is fucking talking about your shit constantly and everybody wants to, it's like, it just feels like you're being brought forward to like what's your opinion on this issue? Like, how do you feel about it? And it just feels like so stupid that like, I really like the fact that I have a big trans community and I don't want to like make like their existence a center point to like my debate content for the next like fucking 3 months. And it's already been a really long time on it. So yeah.
Yeah, I concur with that 100%. I do feel sad that, because I'm pretty confident that I feel like most trans folks hear this stuff and they're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yet they're being just dragged into it by people who aren't trans at all, and are making these absurd claims on their behalf. And it's like, I don't even think they asked for this. And so then I think one thing you said in the debate that I saw, the one that I covered, was like this fosters a lot of the pro-turf arguments in regards to like the negative stuff. So I feel for the community in that regards, because like the people making these arguments aren't from that community and are just saying the nonsensical stuff that affects people, but not them, or the people that look like them in any type of way. So I think that's the most sad part about the whole thing. I think that's probably why I'll just cover it one last time to kind of share those thoughts and then leave it alone after that, because it just feels unfortunate. And I feel like, it really is. I feel like this issue specifically, more than the bathrooms, more than anything, has probably been the most divisive one in regards to fostering an anti-trans sentiment.
Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like the bathrooms one was like, I think legitimately like in favor of the trans people. Like
Agreed.
I think that like conservatives that argued about trans, like, do you know who Blair White is?
Yes.
Like, does a conservative want Blair White going into a bathroom with their son? No, they don't. You're fucking stupid. If you're a conservative, if there's a passing trans person, you don't want them going into the bathroom with that. You're a fucking moron, right? Like, they talk about you know who like Buck Angel is?
No.
He's a very passing trans male. You don't, as soon as a conservative sees somebody like Buck going into the bathroom with their daughter, their tune on the trans bathroom shit will change immediately. They'll be like, okay, wait, hold on. Trans people need to go to their own bathrooms. This is fucking right. So that was an issue that I felt good fighting for. But the trans athlete one is just like really stupid and really rough, and I just feel bad. Like,
it's all over the news now, and the takes are getting crazier and crazier.
They are, yeah.
And then you got folks saying like, I remember, like, I think it's Piers Morgan. He was talking to somebody, and if you make Piers Morgan sound smart, you're fucking.
You
stupid.
super fucked up, yeah.
But he's just like, do you think it would be fine for Floyd Mayweather to just transition and after a year start fighting women? And the woman who sat across him was like, well, I mean, if he did the HRT, then yeah, he should be able to box whoever. But just the optics of that, of one of the greatest boxer in the world. After 1 year, start boxing with, like, it sounded insane, and she said it with such a straight face. And I know everybody who's like not familiar with anything trans related or anything hears this, and this is probably like their only interaction with trans in any type of way. Like, oh, these people are crazy.
Yeah,
that's what they think, right? Because that's their only interaction with it. Because unfortunately, unlike black folks or other minority groups, your only interaction with a group, for some folks, like when it comes to trans community, is just through media. That's the only way. Like, if you don't go to certain events, or if you don't work in certain type of places or live in cities where it's very common to see them, you'll never interact with them. So if your only interaction is with media and you say this crazy shit, you can't help but have a negative impression. You're like, yo, these people are insane.
Yeah, which, and it's really shitty. There were arguments like that being made on some of those Twitter threads by Mindwaves and by MX Vivian, two people that I've kind of debated in the past over this, where they went even further. And they were saying, like, as long as somebody identifies as a gender, they should be able to compete with whatever they want, even without HRT. So, yeah, it's like, okay.
Wait, they said this to you? Where did they say this to you?
It was on. These are Twitter convos. I think Mindwaves tweeted like if LeBron James wanted to compete with women and he identified as a woman, he should be able to immediately. And then Vivian said, "Does anybody have?" Okay, sure. Give me Mindwaves tweets and Vivian's tweet. I know you guys have it. I might have it on my manifesto, but.
Send that to me. Your manifesto is coming against Twitch, I guess?
No, actually. Right now, it's mainly focused on... It's just about my ban, and a lot of it is about Vosh. I need to set the record straight on that shit.
Yeah. Oh, bro. This has been a very interesting 24 hours. It's been fascinating to have it unfold. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel tired of hearing myself on this topic. But it feels like the rhetoric on the other side is so crazy. I'm like, I can't walk away from this.
Yeah.
This is insane.
I also do legitimately worry sometimes that, like, I am actually just booming now. Because, like, when I think about growing up, like, all the crazy shit that the people before me thought, like, you don't think gay people should be able to get married? Like, come on, really? And then I think of, like, how unbelievably wrong, but how unimaginably dug in those people were. I kind of wonder sometimes, like, fuck, like, am I just old? Like, am I as progressive as I ever can be, and now I can't go any further?
Yeah.
Like, I worry about that sometimes, yeah.
I worry about that too, but I think what I help catch myself is that I am able to change a lot of my opinions on certain topics over time. That if I'm, confronted with enough information, and I'll change my mind. I'm not so hard in my stances that I need to die on these hills. I've never been that dude. And it's the same thing been true for our channel. Like, what we did in terms of content 4 or 5 years ago has strongly shifted over the last 2-3 years. And I think that's part due to learning more, to reading up more. Certain things that I always believed were true about, like, relationship dynamics or men and women in general, is like, that's completely shifted for me. And so I think what gives me solace in this regard is, when it comes to the whole booming thing, is I don't feel like I'm rigid, and I'm open to a lot of what people say. but I haven't been confronted with anything, and especially with this topic, where I'm like, oh, I might be booming, because they're denying things that have been true forever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can somebody give me the Vivian tweet? There's like that little mind waves thread on that. I don't know if anybody's got the Vivian tweet on it.
Yeah. So I
know what you mean. Like there are some
women's issues specifically, right? For example, even the whole topics of like sexual assault and understanding like gender pronouns and even gender being different from. I've been embracing a lot of this new stuff. Something I would have never done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I've been shown information. And you know, on the trans stuff, like, if you'd asked me 15 years, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. But I was like, who cares? It's gender pronouns. Like, you use whatever he should. But some people will die on that hill. They say, I never did that. I'm never going to. I was like, who cares? If that's what they want to use that, right? Or women's issues. I just didn't even know. Like, birth control, learning about that was a big eye-opener for me. I didn't realize just how negatively it impacts women. I didn't realize in regards to, like, women's safety and how bad it have it in regards to certain communities. I didn't know about a lot of this stuff. I was kind of tone-deaf and didn't want to hear about it, but with enough information, I've kind of softened those positions and learned to embrace what I believe now is to be the correct position. So I just don't believe I'm booming, only because I've been willing to change in certain regards. But yeah, you were going to say?
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. Fuck, I don't remember what I was going to say, but it was along the same stuff. Like there is some stuff where I've changed my mind because I didn't think I would what I did. And even today, there's some stuff that I think my mind can probably be changed on. But yeah, it feels like for some of this stuff, it's like just so crazy. It's hard to even imagine.
Right. Even gender norms. That's one thing that I've like been softening because as society has like kind of progressed forward, we're seeing that a lot of times in terms of like the traditional gender roles that we've always had in regards to like breadwinners or relationship dynamics have really shifted due to the fact that like the financial climate has shifted. Women make more than before, and so relationships look different than they used to. And so the roles of everybody, those things used to be inked in my head. This is what men do, this is what women do. But I've had to soften that because I'm like, that's not the world that we live in. So I don't know. I think I'd like to believe, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not nearly as open-minded as I'd like to be. But I know on this issue specifically, I feel like the folks arguing the other side of it. I don't know. I don't feel like it's booming in this regards, but maybe you feel like you might be booming on this topic.
I mean, it's just something I always get worried about, right? I don't ever get stuck in like some crazy circle jerk where I'm like not even realizing how dumb I am or something. But yeah.
Yeah. I also don't have the same interaction level that you have with your audience as like a lot of people have. So I feel like with Twitch folks specifically, but maybe it's true for YouTube communities and Discord stuff, you sometimes have so much interaction with people who agree with you 150% of the time that it can sometimes foster a little bit more of that circular thinking. Would you
like if you have too much interaction with the community, it can foster circular thinking?
Yes, because they admire you. They look up to you in a certain type of way.
It could be, but I think I've done a pretty good job at fostering a community that like pushes back when they need to. Like I've had like there have been some pretty big traumas even recently where like my community pushes back pretty hard against me. So I feel like pretty comfortable with where we're at right now, I guess.
Right. If you encourage and embrace dissenting opinions, and that's great. I know for a lot of the communities that's definitely not the case, and I also know what it's like when folks look up to you because there's a certain level of likability and proximity that they have to you that makes it hard for them to look at what you're saying critically in a lot of cases, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of like, yeah. So I think when it comes to the whole booming topic, I think I don't have to worry about it too much in that regards. I keep my fans away as much as possible. I deleted the Discord a long time ago. I try not to be into the comments and shit like that. So that gives me a bit of distance. But just to finish this, I've never really dealt with a song like that. I've only like seen him. I used to see him on Facebook, actually. I used to see him on Facebook when he first started. I used to hate his face at the time. So I didn't even realize it was the same person until much later. Watching the stream for a little bit and then watching it unfold, it was interesting for me because I was surprised of how sure he was.
Yeah. Something that
when he was saying things that like seemed so evidently crazy. Yeah, like that when I made the whole doctors comment, how like doctors will take into consideration, and he's like, "You're a transphobe," and the whole like chat room was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, transphobe," and then they're all like, "Give me my DMs now." I'm sitting back watching, this like, did you really think that was that strong of a point? And so I don't know if it's always like that or if that's just a function of having that kind of following.
It's always like that. That's a big part of what I'm looking at right now is like, how do people like arrive at positions that they think are true? And there's like a formula that like Vosh does this a lot too, where what you do is you kind of like, you state you state a really uncharitable interpretation of what the other person said. You get your whole community to agree that it's bad. Then you kind of like recharacterize that position. And then eventually in the future, whenever that position is referenced, it has no bearing to what was originally said. So like, and Hasan even started to do this towards the last part of the conversations. Your original take is never actually referenced, but instead it's just like, oh yeah, like they're transphobes. They repeat like turfy talking points. Like they're kind of like, they're transphobic. Like they're pushing a transphobic agenda. That's the only thing that's ever mentioned from that point forward. And then when people think about you, either from his community or when he brings you up, it's always going to be like, oh, I remember Abba Preacher, the guys that like have like the kind of like the weird like transphobic agenda, and they say like transphobic stuff. That's it. But if you ever ask one of these people ever, like, what have they ever said that's transphobic? They won't be able to tell you. They might, if they were listening carefully, be able to give you Hasan's interpretation of something you said, but they'll never know what you originally said. They'll have no idea.
Vosh the progression was hilarious.
Yeah.
First, it started off like, I don't think these guys are transphobic. I think they're making transphobic comments. Or they're saying transphobic things. And then by the end of the stream, it's like, oh, yeah, these guys are just full-blown transphobes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa. But that's actually, so you feel like they straw man you first, and then, or they give you an uncharitable position, and then from there, try to label you to their audience?
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. Fuck. Fuck. I feel like it's popping up so much. Or it's probably, I'm just a dumb fuck because I've heard of it once and I'm trying to make it fit everything. There's this concept called simulacrum and it fucking fits this so fucking perfectly. But it's essentially this idea that like you take a thing, you create a copy of that thing, and then you make a copy of the copy that's like a little bit different, and then you make like a copy of a copy that's like lacking the essence of the original thing, and then eventually you've got like this copy of the thing that is kind of supposed to be of the original thing, but there's like no relationship to that original thing anymore. And that's like how all of these political positions end up getting being understood basically. And I've watched this happen to me so many times to where when I hear people referencing things I've said, it's resembling like a caricature of me that doesn't exist. So here's an example. Somebody will say like,
oh yeah, your community's toxic.
No. That is one thing, but not that. It'll be like, I remember when Destiny was laughing and saying that women deserve to get raped. That's like something that a lot of people say about me, right? But like how they got to that was like, I tweeted out something about how like, if you see somebody that's stealthing you and you can't say something about that, then you probably shouldn't be having casual sex. Then people said, well, Destiny doesn't think women should have casual sex. Destiny thinks it's a woman's job to prevent herself from getting raped. Destiny thinks if a woman gets raped, it's her fault. Destiny was laughing at some of the arguments being made. Destiny's laughing at women getting raped. Destiny thinks that women rape is funny. That's like the line that it goes to. And then in the future, anytime you bring me up and I say anything else, it's very easy for you to create these bad impressions of me or mischaracterize things I'm saying because people already have this idea in mind of like, oh yeah, Destiny, he's like the guy that laughs at women getting raped and he hates trans people, right? That's like that's how it goes. So in the future, if you guys ever say anything, Hasan will reference back to this point in time in the mind of his viewers, and all he has to say is like, oh yeah, like this is Abba Preach. These are the like really transphobic guys with the transphobic agenda. So if you say anything even remotely resembling something any other transphobe would say, whether it's true or false, people can automatically like draw back to that idea that Hasan's already put in their head, basically.
Right. Do you think the stealthing one specifically is one that really popped off?
It did a little bit, but like. Every single comment I've made gets like horrendously mischaracterized. It just that's what people do. It's a big part of like my manifesto. One of the ways that it happens, Vosh is like probably the #1 offender of this. Hasan does it a bit too, but Vosh for sure. The way that it happens is the most important thing is to never, ever, ever watch the original take on stream. You just give your characterization of it, and then you always work on that, and you pretend that that's like the original event. So, yeah.
Well, I think when it comes to biases, and then also the audience is already biased against you, then everything they're watching is through that lens already. I think I'm probably guilty of that to some degree. And it's hard to catch yourself, too, because if you're already going in with a certain dislike of somebody, you're just waiting for them to say something you can pop off on.
Sure.
Or something that, it might not even mean what the person said, but because you already have that dislike, that's the way your brain interprets it. Because I don't even think sometimes it's a conscious effort. Would you agree with that or disagree?
I think that for normal people, it's not a conscious effort. I think for some content creators, I think I've gotten a little bit more understanding
You
of
don't
it.
believe him? Okay.
I think it is a conscious effort. Like I think Vosh makes a conscious effort to like misinterpret what people say to build these characters. I think maybe I underestimated some of these people. I think that their understanding of how their audience works is a little bit more sophisticated than I thought, and I think they do go out of their way to build these uncharitable caricatures and then build upon them. Yeah, because it's done so deliberately and so repeatedly. I have a hard time imagining it's like an accident happening over and over again.
So for some of them, I probably would agree with you. I think just the way that you specifically engage with topics, and it's such a like sometimes it can be very visceral and like no sugarcoating whatsoever. It's very easy for people to engage with things that you say that are on the edge, or in the way like optically. Okay, when you say things like on the scale of sexual assaults, what's worse to bad, and you say stealthing is at the bottom. Okay, I can agree with you and understanding the principle, but optically it sounds terrible. You agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if I'm somebody who dislikes you, okay, and I'm listening to that, that's a video I'm gonna cover, and I could easily find ways to make my audience hate you more, and I can do so myself without even having to be conscious. It's just because of the fact that because I'm seeing you through a lens, I hear this comment, it's very easy for me to pounce on that and to go from there and to like kind of piece off little pieces to go at you with my with my audience.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't even think that portion can, like you said, you might see it as being conscious, but what I'm trying to say is for the person watching, they're so charged every time they come at you that it automatically defaults to something negative, even though if they were to really just sit down with it and hear it from anybody else, they might not think that immediately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, you should be able to do better. I think I do better. Like, that's another thing that I've got like so many examples. Like, I hate Vosh. I legitimately like fucking hate him. But like, when I'm engaging with his content, if he makes a point that I agree with, I'll give him credit for like, oh yeah, he did a good job here. Like, yeah, I agree with this point. Like, and I do this over and over and over and over again. And even when my audience interprets him uncharitably, I'll be like, oh, like somebody like in chat was like, I think Vosh is. I'm like, no, I don't think he meant this. Like, he probably meant this. Like, I try to do a good job of like building arguments up and shit, but yeah, that charitability never gets extended to me from other people.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, we've already talked about this. You're a little bit autistic in the way you handle things, so I think you're a bit unique in that regards in this field, for one. And two, on the topic of biases and how they happen subconsciously. I need to go back. How did I feel like I've just lost it.
Oh. I was mentioning how people aren't charitable. Vosh doesn't watch the original clips of me.
Oh, yes. Okay. People choose their battlefields. Meaning, if you make a video that's A1, okay, when they watch it, they'll give you the least amount of credit possible, or they're going to avoid it altogether.
Yeah.
Because it would be to your benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Selectively watching your content, looking for the worst.
I might do that myself as well, right? Like, let's say Fresh It Fit came out with something that's a fucking fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10 video. I might see it and be like, I ain't covering that shit. Fuck these niggas. Even though it's probably like a really good thing that probably should be said. My own biases. But let these motherfuckers mess up one time and watch how many videos I'm coming out with, right? And so I'm probably guilty of myself in just in terms of like how I engage with stuff or what I choose to engage with. There's a certain level of like, I don't even think about it consciously. I'm just like, I would never go out of my way to say they did positive things or to highlight it. And so that's part of the uncharitability that exists, and I think we all engage in. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I mean, I try not to, but I understand what you're saying.
So Vosh does something amazing. Like, he puts out a documentary that's like 10 out of 10. You watching that shit with your audience and be like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I do. I have. I feel like a fucking loser, but yeah, I have done. I've watched like long form content. I've taken his side on really contentious topics before, like where the whole internet was shitting on him. I was like, I don't think he did that bad here. Or like, I think people are being harsher. Like I did. I'm a fucking loser. I'm a fucking moron. I shouldn't, but
yeah. Yeah, I try to.
I won't do that shit anymore, though. Fuck no. Fuck these losers.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah.
I feel like for you, you've probably reached your limit in that regards, right? It's just kind of.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like empty now on like charitability. I've like given and bled so much for these fucking losers for no reason. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, I don't know if this is accurate. I'm just from the outside looking in, but for you, I feel like conflict with other creators is pretty common. Not disagreements, but conflict specifically.
Yeah, for sure. Of course.
Is that fair?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. when you have conflict with so many people and they're just trying to win, then charitability is going to be a very sparse thing. I've realized not to expect too much in terms of character from people, much less content creators. And so when I see them acting funny or acting crazy, I'm just never surprised.
Yeah, same.
That's why I keep my distance from most content creators for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. My expectations are very low, so I'm never surprised. I just assume.
Yeah, except the people who I have in my personal life, or the people I choose to work with or associate with, in terms of like even friendships, I think very highly of them. And if I saw the behavior that some of the people you're having conflict with, if they engage in that, I would never want to be anywhere around them. So, I think maintaining relationships with people online that are like lacking in character in a lot of ways, I don't think is to your benefit or any good.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think I probably agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's pretty much. I'm gonna probably sit on the whole Hasan stuff and then see how I feel about it after a day.
Okay.
Is there anything you think I missed on that?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, brother, I always appreciate you chatting with me. I'll take a look at some of the stuff that you sent me. If you have any other good stuff like this where... oh, my God.
What? Are you okay? Oh, you're looking at the tweet?
Bro, I don't have Twitter, so...
That's pretty wild, stupid shit, yeah.
I don't have Twitter, so I'm seeing some of the shit that you sent me. Read this shit. Yes, and I didn't see you sucking Lauren Souther's dick the other day, you goddamn quisling.
Oh, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, you Nazi coddling dweeb.
Just, yeah, that's why. It's a wild world out there, you know? What, you know, Nazi's gonna Nazi. I can't help myself. What am I gonna do, man?
Oh my God. Who talks like this? Oh my God. Hey man, what the fuck did you send me? What is this?
Some wild opinions, man.
If LeBron transitioned and competed in the WNBA, that wouldn't give him any hormonal or genetic advantage in any meaningful.
They said as long as he was on HRT for 1 year, it'd be fine. That was the Twitter thread that came from, yeah.
Who is this guy? Who's Mind Waves?
He used to host like lefty kind of podcast things or panels on Twitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, I gotta do a couple things, and then I've gotta do a moderating, like a debate between two people. So.
Hey man, no worries, bro. I appreciate you, man. Peace.
I love you. Be careful. Bye. Oh, fucking loser.